One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent.
He would do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like,
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
When Diddy spotted 50 Cent entering that courtroom, his entire facade collapsed. Wide eyes, clenched jaw, hands trembling beneath the table. Gone was the smooth music mogul we've watched for decades. By the trial's third day, multiple witnesses reported Diddy completely unraveled after 50 publicly declared support for Cassie. What followed stunned everyone present and might completely transform this entire case.
Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said,
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner Thieves in theaters January 19th.
That's why he says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like he says something fabulous and he goes, but me and you, we ain't party. Like we need to party. What is he talking about?
Incense is going off.
When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like he said something to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of no, dude, take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social
No, he
media
did it.
talking about
He
it.
did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day?
I'm just not with all that flicky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
Sean Diddy Combs constructed his empire on controlling every aspect of his image. For 3 decades, we've seen him glide down red carpets with that practiced smile, navigate difficult interviews effortlessly, and handle scandals without breaking character. He cultivated a reputation as the unshakable mogul, always in control. Remember that 2017 interview when questioned about alleged payoffs to former staff? Diddy simply smiled, adjusted his jacket, and redirected the conversation without hesitation. Or when his restaurant failed spectacularly in 2012, yet he appeared at the closing party acting like it was all strategic. Classic Diddy, never showing vulnerability. His team ensured this flawless image remained intact. Inside sources revealed Diddy maintains a dedicated staff of 12 people solely to manage his public perception, crafting everything from rehearsed answers to facial expressions. Nothing about public Diddy happened by accident. A former assistant confided that Diddy would spend hours before TV appearances practicing responses in mirrors. He even kept a media coach on retainer who created surprise scenarios to test his ability to maintain composure under pressure. But beneath those designer shades, former employees have long whispered about rage issues. There were 2 Diddys. A former Bad Boy Record staffer told me off the record, the smooth operator everyone saw on TV and the guy who threw phones at walls when things didn't go his way. These stories never gained traction because nobody with genuine influence ever confirmed them. The first fractures in this carefully constructed image began appearing just before trial. Photographers captured Diddy snapping harshly at a fan, requesting a photo outside his attorney's office. Then came that revealing pre-trial press conference where he gripped the podium with such intensity his knuckles visibly whitened. Small tells, perhaps, but for someone who invested millions in image management, these slips spoke volumes. Crisis manager Tanya Rodriguez explained the phenomenon to me. Celebrities like Diddy construct personas like fortress walls, but under sufficient pressure, those walls begin cracking. And once the cracking starts, the entire structure can rapidly collapse. That's precisely what unfolded on day 3. According to several courtroom witnesses, the meticulously crafted Diddy persona completely disintegrated. Court reporter Marcus Jenkins described seeing Diddy physically trembling when certain evidence appeared. His leg was bouncing so forcefully the defense table was shaking, Jenkins noted. Diddy interrupted his own attorney 3 separate times, each outburst louder than the last, until the judge finally intervened. The critical moment came when Diddy suddenly shouted during testimony, forcing Judge Harmon to warn that another outburst would result in contempt charges. Observers described his face as contorted with rage, an expression the public had literally never witnessed in his 30-year career. Just when it seemed Diddy might regain control, the courtroom doors swung open, and in walked the game changer. The very last person Diddy expected to see supporting his accuser, his longtime industry nemesis with both personal scores to settle and the resources to make serious trouble. The instant 50 Cent walked into that courtroom, eyewitnesses say the blood drained completely from Diddy's face.
And it turns out that it's just been announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the but he wants you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. We are still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
Tell him the story.
Tell him the story. So we talking about rumors, right?
Yeah.
And we, when you Google his name, there's a rumor that pops up that he was Diddy's boy toy.
Oh, shit.
Right?
Wait, so this is...
So Charlemagne says...
It's not true, but I told after he brought up the stuff with you, I said, you know what 50 gonna say when he meets you?
Oh, no, I don't know that was going on.
You know,
I can't wait to run into him again.
See, what you gonna say to him?
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
You know what 50 gonna say to you when he sees you.
What?
I heard Diddy touch the butt.
Yeah. Wait till I see him. Wait till I see him. I'm like, yo. Yeah.
What's happening with Puffy? I know you're not really tapped in, but what is it?
The last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed me into the truck. It really hurt. And he sounded me. Like he sounded me. I was like, yo, look. I could find other things to do for money.
The bitter rivalry between 50 Cent and Diddy spans nearly 20 years. These two haven't merely disliked each other. They've actively targeted one another since the early 2000s. 50 has consistently vocalized his feelings about Diddy, calling him out during radio interviews, in press statements, and relentlessly across social media. Remember when 50 suggested Diddy knew something about Biggie's murder? Or his years of publicly questioning Diddy's sexuality? This transcended typical rap rivalry. This was deeply personal. So when 50 Cent strode into that courtroom on the third day, impeccably dressed in a tailored black suit with his trademark sunglasses, the entire room went silent. Court reporter Janelle Martin described the silence as so complete, you could hear cell phones vibrating in pockets. Diddy, mid-conversation with his lawyer, stopped speaking instantly. His head jerked upward, and according to 3 separate witnesses, his expression morphed from confusion to shock to something that strongly resembled genuine fear. Nobody anticipated 50 would physically appear. Certainly, he'd been antagonizing Diddy online since Cassie filed her lawsuit. Just weeks ago, 50 shared that infamous hotel surveillance footage showing Diddy allegedly assaulting Cassie in 2016, captioning it, "Money can't hide who you really are." That post garnered over 12 million views. He followed with multiple Instagram posts hinting he possessed additional damaging information about Diddy's behavior. What few realize is that 50 had been quietly communicating with Cassie's legal team for weeks. An insider close to the situation revealed 50's representatives reached out immediately after Cassie filed her lawsuit. He expressed his belief in her account and offered whatever assistance he could provide. My source explained, 50 has always known how to play the long game against his enemies. As 50 settled into a back row seat, the courtroom atmosphere completely transformed. Heads swiveled back and forth between him and Diddy like spectators at a tennis match. Diddy attempted to focus on his attorney's notes, but courtroom sketches reveal him repeatedly glancing nervously over his shoulder. Then came the bombshell moment. During lunch recess, 50 emerged to address waiting reporters. He didn't merely express support for Cassie, he announced personal financial backing for her legal battle through his G-Unit Foundation. "I'm investing resources to ensure survivors get heard," 50 told the media. "And I'm going to help more women come forward with their stories about powerful men in this industry." He even emphasized, "This isn't about my history with Diddy, this is about right versus wrong." When this news reached Diddy inside the courtroom, witnesses describe his reaction as instantaneous and violent. He slammed his fist against the defense table with such force his water glass toppled over. His attorney attempted to calm him, but Diddy visibly trembled. Court security officers edged closer to the defense table. The timing couldn't possibly have been worse for Diddy because precisely as this confrontation peaked, prosecutors announced they were about to present new evidence. Evidence they claimed would prove Diddy had committed perjury. What subsequently appeared on courtroom screens left absolutely everyone unprepared for what they witnessed.
He would do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like hating on, like doing things with people I'd done business with that he done business with. He would say shit that I was like, he said that to you?
Right.
I was like, yeah, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it. So they want the girls after you're done with them and shit.
Yeah. Leftovers.
Yeah.
You take your leftovers. A lot of niggas have more leftovers.
He was not offended by what I was offended by. This is
wow, they found Kendrick and Wifey.
That's you know, that's obviously doing shopping. They got the same outfit.
Yeah, it's true.
In public.
Yeah, that's a nice shirt. Though. It's a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we got to hang out now. Like, you know, like hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you could give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm going to mess up the wedding. I always say to myself, like,
it was someone's wedding?
It was Chris Lighty's wedding. It was in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this because I looked at him like, yo.
The courtroom already crackled with electric tension following 50 Cent's unexpected appearance. You could physically feel anticipation building as everyone awaited what would happen next. The prosecution team wore expressions of unmistakable confidence, that almost smug look suggesting they were about to deliver something massive. "Your Honor, we wish to present evidence item 47B," the lead prosecutor announced. The defense team appeared visibly confused. My courtroom source reported Diddy's lead attorney immediately rising, objecting, "Your Honor, we haven't been provided with any item labeled 47B in discovery." That's when everyone realized something extraordinary was unfolding. The judge summoned both legal teams to the bench. They engaged in intense discussion for nearly 5 minutes, while Diddy sat isolated at the defense table, repeatedly glancing back at 50 Cent, who remained motionless in his back row position. The courtroom artist mentioned to me that Diddy kept cracking his knuckles one by one, behavior she observed he only exhibited when extremely tense. When attorneys returned to their tables, Diddy's lawyer appeared utterly defeated. The judge addressed the jury directly. "The court will permit this evidence as it was only discovered yesterday." The prosecutor then explained they had obtained security footage from Diddy's Miami property dated April 2018. The courtroom screens illuminated and everything instantly changed. The footage showed what appeared to be Diddy and Cassie in a hallway. Though without audio, the body language was unmistakable. Diddy pointing and shouting, forcing Cassie against a wall. Then came the moment causing audible gasps throughout the courtroom. The video captured Diddy grabbing Cassie's shoulders, violently shaking her before shoving her to the floor. Diddy's response was immediate. He leapt up so abruptly his chair crashed backward. "That's not what happened," he shouted before his attorney physically forced him back down. The lawyer frantically whispered into his ear, but Diddy's face had completely transformed. Eyes widened, breathing visibly labored. A court officer moved protectively closer to the defense table. What made this footage particularly devastating wasn't merely its content, but how it contradicted Diddy's sworn testimony from just the previous day. He had explicitly stated, "I have never in any instance physically assaulted Ms. Ventura or any woman." He even added, "There are no videos or evidence of such behavior because it never occurred." As prosecutors highlighted these contradictions, Diddy's composure completely disintegrated. He repeatedly shook his head, muttered to himself, and at one point actually dropped his head onto the table. His attorney requested an emergency recess, but the judge firmly denied it, stating, "We will continue with the proceedings. Mr. Combs needs to maintain his composure." The bailiff later told reporters he'd never witnessed a defendant's demeanor transform so dramatically during a single court session. "It was like watching someone transform right in front of you," he said. As court adjourned that day, this explosive evidence sent immediate shockwaves through Hollywood. Text messages flew between celebrity circles, with people choosing sides and questioning long-standing loyalties. The carefully constructed wall of silence surrounding Diddy's behavior began crumbling as rapidly as his courtroom composure had. And nobody could have predicted how swiftly his famous friends would begin abandoning ship.
Like all these years, you've been the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long
They
time.
say you're a hater. They say
You're a
you're crazy.
hater. You do this. Yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. Like, there's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might comfort you, bro.
All I'm saying
It
is
might comfort you.
you see it now. All of these complaints. People were damned. They were and pillaged. This was what was going on, right? And what do I get for I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like, I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh shoot, like. Then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Like that, look, you know what's like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something that happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go also 10 years, 20 years later, it comes back. And it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because
Because of
the priests.
The priests touching little boys.
Oh.
Before this trial, celebrities formed an impenetrable shield around Diddy. His famous friends eagerly attended his exclusive parties, jumped on his tracks, and publicly defended him whenever rumors surfaced. They created this protective bubble around him. That's how untouchable Diddy was in Hollywood. Nobody dared risk their career by speaking against him. Everything changed after day 3. That damning footage of Diddy allegedly assaulting Cassie, combined with his courtroom breakdown, completely shattered the industry's code of silence. But what truly opened the floodgates? 50 Cent. By publicly standing with Cassie, he gave others permission to finally choose sides. 50 coming out for Cassie opened the floodgates, my industry source revealed yesterday. Suddenly, people felt they could support her without being the first to speak up. That's precisely what happened. Within mere hours of 50's courthouse appearance, the celebrity world fractured into distinct camps. The unfollows began immediately. Usher, who collaborated with Diddy on numerous hits, quietly removed him from his Instagram following list. Mary J. Blige, once inseparable from Diddy during the bad boy glory days, did exactly the same. Justin Bieber, who considered Diddy a crucial mentor in his early career, not only unfollowed him, but deleted every photo they'd ever taken together. These weren't random acts. This was calculated distance. The social media battlefield turned chaotic overnight. Celebrities started posting cryptic messages that never mentioned Diddy directly, but left absolutely no doubt about their meaning. Lizzo posted a simple "Believe Women" without any context. The Weeknd shared a black screen with the words, "Power doesn't equal truth." Even Drake, who typically avoids industry drama completely, posted, "The truth always surfaces eventually," immediately after the courtroom video leaked. Some took bolder approaches. Cardi B went live on Instagram saying, "I've seen this type of behavior in the industry for years. It's time we stop protecting abusers just because they got money." She never uttered Diddy's name, but everyone understood exactly who she meant. The most telling sign of Diddy's crumbling empire? His calls are going straight to voicemail. A member of his management team confided that several A-listers who previously answered Diddy's calls on the first ring are now screening him entirely. He's called Rihanna 6 times since the courtroom incident. She hasn't picked up once, my source confirmed. Similar reports about Beyoncé and Jay-Z refusing to issue supportive statements despite desperate pleas from Diddy's team are spreading throughout the industry. Meanwhile, Cassie's support grows exponentially each day. Female artists who previously worked alongside Diddy are contacting her legal team, volunteering to testify about their own experiences. Celebrities who never comment on legal matters are publicly standing with her. Lady Gaga sent a bouquet to Cassie's home with a note simply reading, "I believe you," according to someone in Cassie's inner circle. This dramatic shift would have been unthinkable just a week ago. Diddy's iron grip on the industry meant criticizing him could instantly end careers. Now the power balance has completely reversed, with each passing day bringing more celebrities abandoning his sinking ship. But the real explosion was yet to come. As celebrities chose sides and evidence mounted, Diddy's already fragile composure finally shattered completely in a courtroom outburst that left everyone, including the veteran judge, utterly stunned.
How much is this guy trying to get?
I don't know. Like, it's a simple suit situation, but it's like
20 mil, I can say it.
You still have the blackest face out. You still have to mimic his voice because he's like,
but his
damn.
voice wasn't even that different.
And a little deeper. I was like, almost like, no, that's you, young buck.
Yo,
I almost felt like it was him. I almost knew who it was. You know what I mean? I was like, nah. You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much shit that you go, wait. No, this was visible, guys.
He was in the hallway. We saw the video.
Yeah, you see
we saw that video.
It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. That's the hallway. He didn't give a fuck. Like, you could tell that he was already...
Nah, New Yorkers know. Because when Fab, he was like, yo, Fab, we ain't party. Fab was like, nah, we partying tonight.
He's like, no, like, but he didn't party.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, they let that one go? Like, I had to say something about it later because I was like, oh.
The final explosion happened during Cassie's testimony on day 3. The courtroom was packed, media crowding the back, celebrities scattered throughout, and 50 Cent still sitting there with his arms firmly crossed. Diddy had been growing increasingly agitated all morning. Court clerk Melissa Johnson noticed he kept whispering to his attorneys, each time louder than before. His leg bounced relentlessly under the table. He'd loosen his tie, then tighten it again. Classic signs of someone about to snap. Cassie took the stand around 2:30 p.m. She spoke with remarkable clarity, making direct eye contact with jurors as she described a 2019 incident. She testified Diddy had threatened to destroy her career after she attempted to end their relationship. "He said he made me, and he could destroy me just as easily," she stated. Diddy started shaking his head before she even finished speaking. His attorney repeatedly placed a hand on his arm, trying desperately to calm him. The judge noticed too. Court reporter Damon Williams told me the judge actually wrote something on a notepad and had it passed to Diddy's lawyer. Apparently a warning about controlling his client. The breaking point came when Cassie described a party at Diddy's Hamptons estate in 2018. She testified he had locked her in a bedroom for 2 days after seeing her speaking with another music executive. As she spoke, Diddy's face transformed completely. His eyes widened, jaw tightened, a vein on his forehead became visible even from the gallery. The courtroom artist captured the moment perfectly. This expression of pure rage unlike anything we've seen from him before. Suddenly, Diddy stood up. His attorney grabbed his suit jacket, desperately trying to pull him back down, but it was too late. "That's all lies," he shouted, pointing directly at Cassie. "You know what you did?" The courtroom froze in shock. Even the court reporter momentarily stopped typing. Cassie flinched but kept her eyes forward, refusing to look at him. But Diddy wasn't finished. He turned toward the back of the courtroom where 50 Cent sat. "And you," he yelled, his voice cracking with rage, "you'll regret getting involved in this." Court security immediately converged on Diddy. 2 officers positioned themselves protectively between him and the witness stand. Another stood directly behind his chair. Judge Harmon slammed her gavel 3 times in rapid succession. "Mr. Combs, you will control yourself in my courtroom," she demanded. "One more outburst and I will hold you in contempt." Security, please remain in position. Diddy's lead attorney quickly stood, attempting to request a brief recess, but the judge sharply cut him off. Sit down, counsel. We will continue. The spectators couldn't believe what they were witnessing. Diddy, who had built his entire brand on being perpetually cool and collected, completely losing control in public. A juror was spotted writing extensively in her notebook immediately following the outburst, not a promising sign for the defense. Through this entire scene, Cassie maintained remarkable composure on the stand. She calmly took a sip of water and continued her testimony as if the explosion never occurred. Her attorney later told reporters this composure stemmed from newfound confidence, knowing she finally had support from powerful industry figures like 50 Cent. And speaking of 50, his response to Diddy's threat. A slight smile and a slow, deliberate nod, as if to say, I'm exactly where I want to be. The power dynamic had visibly shifted before everyone's eyes, and Cassie hadn't finished telling her story. Diddy's legal team huddled in crisis mode immediately after court adjourned, their entire defense strategy, portraying him as a calm, reasonable businessman who'd never harm anyone, completely collapsed the moment he started shouting in court. A legal insider confided they spent the entire night desperately rewriting their approach because the perfect gentleman angle had become impossible to sell to any jury. Their hastily assembled emergency strategy? Playing the victim card. Just this morning, Diddy's attorneys filed an urgent motion requesting a mistrial. The document claims 50 Cent's presence was a deliberate attempt to provoke our client and create a prejudicial environment. They even included screenshots of 50's social media posts about Diddy as evidence of a coordinated campaign to influence the trial outcome. But the judge isn't buying any of it. She denied their motion within hours, writing decisively that Mr. Combs's behavior is his responsibility alone. Now Diddy's team is scrambling to create a fallback defense that actually acknowledges some of Cassie's claims while disputing others. They're suddenly portraying him as passionate but misunderstood. A complete 180-degree turn from their original approach. Meanwhile, Cassie's team is masterfully capitalizing on Diddy's meltdown. Her lead attorney has requested the judge permit 3 additional witnesses who previously declined testifying. These witnesses reportedly came forward after seeing Diddy lose control. Feeling safer now that his power appears to be slipping, sources close to the case tell me these witnesses include a former security guard and 2 personal assistants with direct knowledge of Diddy's alleged behavior. 50 Cent continues intensifying pressure too. Since the courtroom confrontation, he's posted 7 times about the case, each message more pointed than the last. His most recent post featured a split screen of Diddy in court alongside the security footage with the caption, "Actions speak louder than lawyers." It garnered over 3 million likes in just 6 hours. He's also announced a new documentary series titled Music Industry Secrets that many industry insiders believe will focus directly on Diddy. The most striking transformation might be Cassie herself. Court observers noted her completely altered demeanor when she returned to testify after Diddy's outburst. She sat taller, spoke with newfound confidence. Her attorney confirmed this shift. My client feels validated. She's finding her voice with each day of this trial. Legal experts believe Diddy's courtroom behavior severely damaged his case. Jury consultant Sarah Matthews explained, jurors make decisions based on behavior they witness themselves. They just watched him lose control. That's going to stick with them more than any testimony. Another trial analyst noted the jury's body language visibly changed after the outburst, with several members physically leaning away from Diddy. Beyond the trial itself, Diddy's business empire shows significant fractures. Shares in his Revolt media company dropped 14% immediately following the courtroom incident. 3 major brands have quietly paused their partnerships with his liquor companies. His talent agency reportedly placed his representation under review. Industry insiders estimate he could lose upwards of $200 million in business deals regardless of the verdict. The power dynamics have completely flipped. Diddy, once untouchable, now watches helplessly as his empire crumbles while Cassie gains momentum daily. With 50 Cent promising more revelations to come, this case has evolved beyond one relationship. It might expose secrets the entire music industry has kept hidden for decades. The music industry power map has been completely redrawn overnight. Diddy, who controlled his image and intimidated the industry for decades, now sits powerless at the defense table, watching his empire disintegrate in real time. Cassie, once afraid to speak out, stands stronger each day, with unexpected allies like 50 Cent backing her claims. Nobody could have predicted this dramatic reversal in power dynamics. 50's calculated move transformed what should have been an easy win for Diddy into a public reckoning that grows messier by the day. This case isn't just about Diddy anymore. It's opened the floodgates for others to speak up about powerful figures in music who believed they were untouchable. The wall of silence is finally breaking.